Tonight, the Orpheum Theater will show a screening of the movie Milk, which earned Sean Penn an Academy Award. He portrayed Harvey Milk, the city councilman slain in San Francisco after becoming a poster child for gay rights.
But what caught our eye was the role Wichita played in the film. All of it, of course, based on a true story. Our Josh WITSMAN takes a closer look for this KSN News Extra.
Hey, we're losing Wichita, so rally tonight, sundown at Market and Castro, okay?
It is the late 70s, and gay Americans are facing their biggest challenge, a former pitchwoman made famous by Florida oranges.
Hi, I'm Anita Bryant. Hi, I'm Anita Bryant. Hello, I'm Anita Bryant.
Bryant and her Save Our Children organization had just worked to overturn a civil rights ordinance in Miami-Dade County, which prevented discrimination against gays. Her next target would be Wichita, Kansas.
If homosexuals are allowed their civil rights, then so would prostitutes or thieves or anyone else.
The city had just passed an ordinance in 1977 similar to the one in Miami. It would be an ordinance Bryant and some local pastors would challenge to a citywide vote.
We knew that it wasn't going to be pretty.
Bruce McKinney helped pass the original ordinance and would find himself not only facing Bryant, but a barrage of national media.
Voters in Wichita, Kansas will go to the polls tomorrow to decide whether or not to repeal their law which bars discrimination against homosexuals.
Here locally, Wichitans were quickly choosing sides.
How can we have a law giving special rights to sex deviants without infringing on the rights of our children?
Wichita pastor Ron Adrian encouraged his congregation to vote to repeal the ordinance, while the Catholic Church encouraged its members to keep it. A similar stance followed by some city leaders.
Thank God we're not voting on civil rights for blacks, for women's, for Chicanos, for Indians, for handicapped people, for aged people, because I'm not sure how that vote would come out if that were on the ballot next Tuesday either.
Leading up to the vote, Wichita was a battle of opinions, church against church and neighbor against neighbor. But in the spring of 1978, Wichitans would side with Bryant and vote to repeal one of the few civil rights ordinances in the country protecting gays.
After the polls closed, the church organization that started the repeal action was celebrating victory.
Wichita was the low point.
Such a low point for supporters that the Wichita vote would spark protests in San Francisco portrayed in the movie. Back here at home, activists like McKinney would face the vote's real-life consequences.
It was so bad that I stopped going out because I was so associated with it that I would get negative comments, I would get backstabbing. It wasn't pretty. You know, they didn't treat us very nice.
McKinney says he was evicted from his rental home and that many of the people associated with the ordinance left town in a matter of weeks. 31 years later, Wichita has never revisited that repealed civil rights ordinance. In fact, in 2005, Kansas voters overwhelmingly approved a constitutional amendment that banned same-sex marriages. To some, present-day Wichita may not seem as progressive as the Wichita of the 1970s, but for those who were here, they say Anita Bryant and her crusade did more good than harm.
I think we opened up a conversation that we haven't stopped talking.
A conversation put back in the spotlight thanks to the silver screen.
Next stop, Wichita, Kansas.
Josh WITSMAN, KSN News.